by the way. Everybody, it's Big Ed here, and I am in a remote location that I can't disclose where I actually am. And I actually look a lot better on TV tonight, so everybody would definitely agree. Tonight in our show on the Smoking Guns, we got Lumpy wearing his Savannah Banana gear. We got Jimmy Two Guns wearing his Dallas gear. And then we got the Flying Hawaiian. How do you block in real life? Okay, there you go.
How do I block you in real life?
Oh, okay. Is that what he says? Okay.
Yeah.
We got the Smoking Guns. All right, so guys,
backwards for some reason.
In the NFL. I don't know if you guys watched the game the other day. We talked about it a little bit before the show. Just to get your read. Carrie, what did you think of the Eagles last game? I know a lot of the starters and whatnot didn't play. What'd you feel? How'd you feel?
Well, leaves a lot unsettled, man, because they look bad. The other cornerback spots are going to be like a really big, question mark going into this season. Besides, Quinyon Mitchell's your one starter, obviously, but teams tend to go after the other cornerback when you got one shutdown guy, and we just don't have anybody on that side of the, at that position that just is taking the job. They're just not taking the job. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Howie makes a trade right before the season starts.
What, for a corner?
Yeah.
Or get somebody off the waiver wire.
What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
But he can always get someone off the waiver wire too. He's done that almost every year. He picks up somebody he has waived.
Yeah.
That depth at least.
Where do they have DeJean playing now?
Well, I think DeJean is actually the ace in the hole there. If things don't work out, I think he's going to be on the outside corner, because right now they want one of those guys to win the outside corner, because DeJean is really good as the inside corner. You know what I mean? So they need one of those guys to win that battle. If they don't, then either DeJean's going to go on that side, or you're going to have to trade for a guy, one or the other. Because I don't think any of those guys could play inside, to be honest. We shouldn't have never got rid of or let go of Isaiah Rodgers. We should have kept him. He's only got paid like a 2-year deal for like $10.5 million. That would have easily been manageable for us. But Howie had in his head that he was just going to let free agents walk. You know what I mean? And build with what he got. But I think that was a mistake.
Well, that's the one thing about Howie Roseman that I love him. And everybody loves him. Like, when he hits. But also, he has enough street cred that he can make decisions like that, and then it won't really hurt him as much as it did before, because he feels like, he's Howie Roseman kind of thing. That's what's interesting about him.
So that's an interesting battle. We still got a couple more weeks to go, though.
What bothers me about
I'm not in panic mode yet.
Well, what bothered me about no preseason as like a lineman now, it's a little bit different than before. I mean, they bring the teams in early now, so they practice against each other in practice. They might get a little that way. They're not at the preseason games. But I still think those games, especially for the line, definitely helps them develop. I watched the new tackle that they got from Nebraska a little bit this weekend, and Robinson.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Well, the kid comes off hard. He plays with a low center of gravity. He comes off hard. He gets good push on the football. But you won't know until you actually see him against, obviously starters, and so just looking at him, So, Jim, did you have anything on the Eagles? I know they're not your favorite squad, but do you have anything right there on that?
The shutdown corner was that Karen was talking about. I didn't know you guys signed Dion, because I haven't seen the shutdown corner since Dion. But,
you got to admit,
it's my time.
I know. Go ahead. You can talk, but I'm just saying, though. You can't say you can't.
I didn't know that zone cover guys are shutdown guys. I mean, the defense you play is mostly zone. But that's an argument for another time. I think the word shutdown gets thrown around way too much. there is no shutdown corner in the league. There is none. Nobody
Okay.
goes down and shuts
Okay.
anyone down. That's done.
Except for CD Lamb last year against Quinyon Mitchell when he had 6 catches for 21 yards.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Who was the quarterback?
He wasn't shut down. He wasn't shut
Who was the
down.
quarterback?
The
who's the
quarterback that went 5-1 for you at one point.
You mean the quarterback who only put up 19 points a game in Dallas?
The quarterback who had more wins than Dak Prescott.
Hang on. You'll see when Dak Prescott gets here, okay? And then when you're
We'll
going to see when he has big numbers,
All right.
and you're going to
Call me now, Miss Cleo.
I also put up some stats here that in a Nick Fangio defense, they play zone 70% of the time.
Mhm.
They don't play man like that anymore. There's a big difference. Now you can play
They
man
play
with
a
help
mix.
over the top. It's
They
not.
play
He's
a
not
mix
man.
of zone and
you guys
man,
are
dude.
making this guy sound like he's fucking a shutdown corner. Yeah, no such thing. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't watch preseason games anymore because it gets too
Apparently
stressful.
don't watch the regular games either.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true either. That's not true. I mean, you guys watch them and still don't know what the hell you're looking at.
Mhm.
But that's just another thing.
Yeah.
Let's move on to those subjects.
Yeah. So here's my question. Okay. We looked at them this week, and you don't really know until you actually get there. The problem I have with the Eagles over the last couple of years, and maybe even other teams too, but the team I watched was the Eagles, obviously. The first game of the season almost becomes that first preseason game, and that does phase a little bit to get the timing down and things like this. And it's going to be a new offensive coordinator this year, even though he was with the team before. So it's going to be a little bit of change, and there we go. But I want to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little about the Cleveland Browns. And as I was driving down and I was, on the road today, just listening to the radio, and they were talking about the dilemma that the Cleveland Browns have, where you have 5 different quarterbacks, and Joe Flacco might be your starter. I mean, my God, how long has Joe Flacco been in the league? And then you got, Shedeur Sanders. I know everybody's thinking to themselves, why do we even care about the Cleveland Browns? But it is interesting, and also what's going to happen when Deshaun Watson comes back. So I think we talked a little bit about this before, but I wanted to get your guys' read with the group because I didn't know what you guys thought, who you think is going to be the starter, and all that good stuff. So anybody want to take that one?
I'll take it.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think Stuart Sanders has a lot of the skills to be a good quarterback. But I think, and we've seen with a lot of guys probably in the last 10 years, and Ryan Leaf comes to mind first and foremost, the biggest thing you can have is between your ears. And I don't know if he has the head to be a number one day in, day out. Deal with the pressure, deal with the stress, deal with guys in his face. He's very defensive and very mouthy, and I see that being an issue at some point in time this season. But I think he'll be the starter at some point in time.
You think Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah, I do.
I think a lot of people call him. I really didn't see him play in college, so I don't really know too much about him. I'll be honest, I didn't watch him, but I mean, there's a lot of hype around him. I can tell you that. But Jim, what were you gonna say?
I really haven't seen any of them play in the preseason, but I think Sanders eventually, like we said, will be the quarterback, and it'll be because they're not moving the ball. I mean, Deshaun Watson's still floating around. That's a big price tag to have sitting around. One of you guys said on the bench.
Yeah.
Depends how their season's going and how they look. If they come out and win a few games with Flacco, and say they start out, which I know they're not, say they start out like 4-2 or something, the season's not over. I mean, how good's the offensive line? Like, if it's not a good offensive line, you're going to have to go with Sanders to run for his life. And from what I'm hearing, the other guy they drafted isn't doing well.
Well, that's what they were talking about, Dylan Gabriel. He said he was distinguishing himself between entertainers and competitors. Of course, that pissed a lot of people off. So, so Sanders took it that way. And then, it's interesting. Even Shannon Starr put his name in there and he said, the damage was done. Look, nobody's expecting Cleveland to do anything this year, but it's just a side story on a crazy quarterback room, and you can't have that many quarterbacks. And they also have, from what I understand, if I'm wrong, don't they have Kenny Pickett? Isn't he there also?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, where's he going to go? Where's he going to wind up? So I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that they need to iron out.
I think right now they have Pickett as being the number 2 behind Flacco.
Did it really? Okay.
I'm rooting for Gabriel. I'm rooting for the Hawaiian guy. Just so y'all know.
Okay. But he's not related to Roman, we said, right?
No.
Okay. Interesting. So that was an interesting topic on that. Let's see what else we got going on. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I see posts like in our group and in our chat, and I've seen it on other chats also. And people are talking a lot about, Lamar Jackson. We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. We're talking about the Ravens. Is this their year to take it to the Super Bowl? Are they going to win? So my question is like, what's your guys' read on Jackson? I know he's a great talent. Oh my God, the guy could throw, he could run. What do you think is going to, what's your read on him, and how do you think they're going to do this year? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, Ed.
Go along. Okay.
I'll tell you, and Jimmy will like this take, I think. I put Lamar Jackson in the same group as a Jalen Hurts. I'm not a huge Jalen Hurts fan, but they both win. And I don't think they're long-term solutions, either of them. I don't think, but then Lamar Jackson's been a long-term solution. I don't care for his game, but if he wins, and let's face it, this game, the NFL, is about winning and losing.
Yeah, I can't say I wouldn't put him in the same as Hurts, but that's me. But Jim, what do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
You got to look at a lot of things. The AFC is a pretty strong conference.
Right.
I mean, Buffalo's a good football team. Kansas City's a good football team. It's a tough conference to win, but for some reason, it seems like in that last game to get to the Super Bowl, when you face a really good team, that run around throwing shit doesn't work, man. I don't know. I read somewhere someone saying he had a noodle arm, and I seen some of his throws, but didn't someone or someone said the tight end dropped the ball, and that's why they didn't win the one game? I mean,
he has a cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
I think the guy has a great arm. That's why I think he's better as far as throwing. I think he has a better arm than Hurts.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I think he has accuracy issues. He reminds me of a lot of Donovan McNabb, like their career trajectory, because like neither of them can get past the championship games. You know what I mean?
But why?
Listen,
if they had the Ravens defense back when Ed Reed and
hey, listen, the Ravens had like
defense. Would he be the
same? Ravens had like 6 All-Pros on their team and like 9 Pro Bowlers or some crazy amount of All-Pros and Pro Bowlers last year. They really had no excuses. Like, to me, I just think they choked.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, like, who's their? Oh, they got Derrick Henry as the running back.
Yeah, they got a loaded offense. They got a good offensive line, a great defense.
Who's their number one receiver?
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
I don't think they have that big time guy. They don't have an AJ Brown or a CeeDee Lamb level. They don't. The guy in Washington, Terry McLaurin, is that name?
Yes.
He'd be a nice fit in Baltimore. I think he'd be a real good help for them. If I'm Baltimore, I'm looking to get that guy. I don't like Baltimore receivers.
Well, they have DeAndre Hopkins. He's pretty good. They have Zay Flowers. Yeah, but he can still play. Zay Flowers is pretty decent. That guy, Rashad Bateman. And their tight end, they have a good tight end too, but he just happened to drop that one pass.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Carrie. Do those receivers scare you?
Flowers is pretty good.
Who?
Flowers.
Speed-wise, yeah. Yeah, they scare me a little bit. We had some problems with them when we played them.
Yeah, Go ahead.
I just don't think I think they're just missing one more factor, and that's the big time receiver.
And they said that about McNabb too.
Well,
Well, yeah,
that's
then he
depth,
got
though.
T.O. and he had a really good year.
Yeah.
But,
They said
but
about
there
T.
you
They
go.
said about McNabb for a long time. He didn't have a receiver.
That was
T.O.
Andy Reid.
got to Dallas and ran into the same problems, you know. T.O.'s problems were caused by T.O.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, T.O.'s biggest problem is his
T.O.
his personality. I mean,
His ego.
his hubris,
Yeah.
as they say.
And,
I was so
and
happy
then
when we
people
traded
said-
for him.
Someone said when he didn't get the first year Hall of Fame, he had the numbers. And I always said this: there's more to being a Hall of Famer than numbers. And that's why I didn't get in the first time. And I got crucified. I said he didn't get in. And like I said, to be a Hall of Famer, it's more than just numbers.
So then my question is, if a guy,
Yeah, but he should have been in the Hall of Fame. Though. Like
Oh, he is. He didn't.
I
Oh,
know
but
he
he didn't
is,
get
but
in.
he's deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. He had a hell of a career, man.
I know. I'm not
You know,
saying he did.
and he was famous. He was famous. Everybody knew who he was.
yeah.
It
Well,
seemed like we knew who he was for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
That's my point.
My question is, a guy like Marino in the NFL Hall of Fame, great stats, great numbers, you know, and then you get a guy like, you know, they look at say Hurts just because, you know, why not? What if Hurts wins another 2 Super Bowls, just for S and G's, right? He wins another 2 Super Bowls. Is he an NFL Hall of Fame quarterback or no?
It depends upon his stats.
Well, that's what I mean. So the stats matter more than championships for the
No,
whole.
I think both matter. Maybe not equally. You can't fault a guy for. I mean, let's face it. It's 22 guys play,
Yeah.
and he's one. So you can't fault a guy for. He put up 35, but the defense gives up 45. Like, how's that his fault? So I think part of it is stats, and part of it is overall career. But you can't fault a guy for his team.
Yeah, you got to look at individual accomplishments too. I mean, he was an All-Pro at one point. He could probably be an All-Pro again.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on what he does. Stats, accomplishments, individual accomplishments. The Super Bowl rings do help you get in the Hall of Fame. Look what it did for Troy Aikman.
Oh,
Yeah. But,
oh.
well, I'll tell you what, Aikman, he's in the
It's
Hall
the
of Fame.
truth. Why you get? Yeah, because he won 3 Super Bowls, not for his numbers.
I don't know.
Definitely not for his numbers.
I'll defend Aikman. He was a really
No,
good.
he only threw over 20 touchdowns once in his career.
But see, to me,
And the most he ever had was 22 in a season. His
But the game is
numbers
different.
were bad.
But the game is different than also.
yeah. I mean,
If
look.
you were going to build a quarterback, if you were going to look up quarterback in the dictionary, you would see Troy Aikman. That's what you would see.
Montana.
And yeah, you would too, but Troy Aikman would be far behind there. His throwing mechanics were perfect. There hasn't been very few quarterbacks come out of college into the draft with the rating that he had.
But you say that they weren't passing for big numbers back then, but what about guys like Jim Kelly, Marino, Steve Young, Scott Mitchell had like 4,000 yards one year in '95. You know, it was a passing league back then.
But here's the argument with that, Gary. They didn't have Emmitt Smith behind them either. That's Emmitt's team. It was the first year they won a Super Bowl. It was Troy's team. But I say this, and I will agree with you. Hang on, let me finish. I will agree with you. After that first year, I thought when Emmett held out those 2 games, you remember that holdout he had? Dallas was 0-2?
Yeah, of course.
That Cowboy offense couldn't score more than 13. That's what
I
I
know.
said.
Emmett was a warrior, man. Emmett's my favorite non-Eagles running back of all time, just so you know. Like,
Aikman was very overrated. Like, how can you have an all-pro wide receiver, Michael Irvin? You had a very good tight end, Jay Novacek, the best offensive line in football, right? And a defense that ranks in the top 3, and you put up 13 points? Like, that's when I said to myself, Aikman really isn't that good. He's good, but he's not. I don't know. You can't live on his arm. You couldn't do it in that offense anyway. Because as soon as Emmett was out, they didn't move. And that's in every game that he played without Emmitt Smith, they lost. They lost. And that's just the facts. I mean, that was Emmitt's team after that. And that was just how it was.
Yeah.
And when they lost Michael Irvin, when he didn't have Michael Irvin, he struggled again.
Yeah,
and you're right. I think he was carried a little bit towards after 93. I think Warren Moon could have been the quarterback on that team. They might have won 4 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Warren
there's
Moon
another
there.
quarterback who was putting up big numbers.
Yeah, he could slate, you know.
He's huge.
But I don't know if he put the numbers up in Dallas.
So my question is, though, all right, let's shift off of Dallas a little bit. Let's talk about you go back to the quarterbacks. Let's talk about some teams back in the 80s and the 90s. Let's talk about the Redskins.
2.
Now, is Theismann really a Hall of Fame quarterback, or was he another team that was another guy that was carried by the Hogs and Riggins and all those guys?
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
That's
No.
not, he's not.
He's
Should
not.
he
He had a very, very pedestrian career until those 3 or 4 years right at the end where he had a lot of team around him. But again, it comes back to the argument, you know, are we judging on one person or are we judging on his career? Like, you know, when he had a team around him, he was a much better player than when he was the only person on the offense. He was only on the offense.
They were some good teams they had, the Redskins in the 80s.
Fantastic teams.
I
Yeah,
think
he was
they
an
were better than
MVP
the
one
Niners.
year.
I think they were better than the Niners.
Well, when they had Art Monk, and the coolest thing that ever happened one of the cooler things that ever happened to me when I was actually working in a school at the time, I saw this huge guy come into my office, and I looked up and it was Joe Jacoby.
Huh.
Dude, it was like I tried to explain it to my secretary that it was like you seeing Ricky Martin at the time. And to me, I was just like I got so excited. He sat in my office and we talked for like a half hour because he was meeting kids that played at the school because he was coaching at Grand Canyon University at the time, and I got him to sign a piece of paper. So that was pretty neat. That's met Jacoby. He's just an awesome guy. So.
You know, those Washington teams, and I think Joe Gibbs was really the better coach in the 80s. I hate the Redskins and I hate the Niners. But this guy went to 3 Super Bowls, and this guy went to 1 Super Bowl to 3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that's
like Doug Williams, Theismann, and Ripien. Yeah, you're right.
And that 91 team, that 91 Redskin team was
Yeah,
pretty
they were
fucking
good, man.
But I'll tell you what the
remember
better team was.
And there were 3 very average quarterbacks too.
Yeah. But the year after, I think it was the 83 Redskins.
Yeah.
The year after, I'm just gonna blow you away. Their turnover margin was a plus 44. Like nowadays, we're only like a plus 20. They were a plus 44. That's getting like 3 turnovers a game. There were 16 games because 3 times 16 is 48. I know that math from shooting darts.
Wow,
so
you pull that as calculator today, boys. Go ahead.
No. Because I shot darts, triple 16 is 48 points.
Okay, gotcha.
I could be 317 to 51. So what it is this guy, like they were plus 44. That's 3 turnovers a game. That's unheard of. And they broke the scoring record and it stood for a long time. That scoring record stood what? Till New England broke it or someone? Or the Rams broke it or someone?
Yep.
Like that team that got hammered by the Raiders, though. The Raiders beat the brakes off them. That's probably, in my opinion, the best team never to win a Super Bowl in the history of football.
Yeah. Well, I would say that's
plus 44.
Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. It is crazy.
So that goes back to my argument. I'd rather see a team win than stats. I could give a crap about stats. You know?
Well, I think stats are a good qualifier. Like even on a bad team, you have to have decent stats.
Yeah.
They make stats about everything.
Yeah, well now everything's stats fantasy.
Yeah, but you know what do you do when your quarterback gets benched in the 4th quarter because he has like such a huge lead already? You know, he's not going to keep putting up numbers. You know,
and the same thing is
I'd rather have that happen.
How many times do you see a quarterback have an interception because it's throwing a Hail Mary?
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a team,
how many times do you see him hit somebody in the hands? You go see their hands, he gets picked off for a pick 6. And they blame the quarterback. Quarterbacks get blamed for everything.
Yeah. Well, they should. Yeah, but they also get all the glory too. So
It's $40 million a year. They should get blamed for everything.
yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah,
But sometimes
that's why I
you can't
said
blame
they have records.
Well, they don't. They don't have records. They don't have records. It's not possible. That's my opinion. It's just not possible. Because I'll tell you, I'll give you a perfect example, and you're gonna hate it. I mean, your offense could struggle. You could score. I seen the Bears win a game in Arizona, and the offense didn't score a fucking point. They had they had a punt return, a kick return, and a return to a fumble.
I get all that, man. But
is it Rex Grossman was the quarterback of that team that went for the Bears in 2006?
Yeah.
Like he got to a Super
I
Bowl.
remember Grossman.
You can't give him a win for that. They didn't even score in the offense. I just don't think that. I don't. You can get stats for anything of anything. And I say it all the time.
Exactly.
And Carrie hates it. We always have this argument. I can Google left-handed quarterbacks. That doesn't make it a stat. I just
that never
rinse
makes
them
any
off.
sense to me.
No.
It does make sense because it can tell you how many wins and losses for a quarterback is not a quarterback stat.
Yeah, but if you Google just quarterback stats, there's a lot of quarterback stats that don't come up.
It's the ones that
I mean,
really
just go look on ProReference.com. They got quarterback wins losses records on there. They're a legit site. You know what I mean? Listen, I get what you're saying. It's a team sport, but quarterbacks to me are like pitchers and goalies and hockeys, man. You know, it is what it is. They're going to get, like you said, they're going to get the glory. They're going to get the blame. So
Yeah.
Well,
it is what it is, man. They have records. Dak is 2-5 in the playoffs.
All right.
So the Cowboys 2-5. Pitchers have an ERA. I seen a pitcher not too long ago have a record barely over 500, and he won the Cy Young because his ERA was low,
Mhm.
just because nobody hit for him. You can say he's 2-5 in the playoffs. I mean, you got to pin it on someone, but so the Cowboys defense is 2-5, and so is Zach Martin's 2-5 because he's on
The
that
team
team
is
too.
2-5. Yeah, the team is 2-5. But
Yeah, Jimmy,
So is
although
the quarterback,
if
man.
you go back and look, there was a stat a couple of years ago where the Phillies' average run output was like 5 runs a game, but when Nola pitched, it was like 2.3 runs a game.
Yeah.
So he's
I
a
know.
bad record. He's a bad record. Is that his fault?
No, I said he has an ERA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what separates pitchers. The ERA. It's not so much the win-loss. It's the ERA.
Yeah.
Because that's done over 9 innings. He gives up 2 runs a game in 9 innings. I'm starting that guy. Not the guy who's 15-2 and gives up 6 runs. I'm starting a guy who gives up 2 runs. That's how pitching works.
All right. So maybe next show we'll start introducing us a little bit of baseball and just. Also, we can throw a little baseball into the chat. Guys, I got some questions for you. We're going to do a 5-question trivia. And
like this. I'm
if
stuffing.
you guys get it. You guys ready?
Yep.
Which team has won the most Super Bowls and how many?
New
New
England
England?
7.
You got to raise your hand.
New
New
England
England
7.
I got
Six.
New England. Yeah, but who else?
7.
Pittsburgh has 6.
Yes, it's both have 6 each. It's New England and Pittsburgh.
Wait, I could have sworn Tom Brady. Oh, never mind. I'm including Tampa.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad.
Ah,
My bad.
he played for
I'm going by rings. Yeah, I'm going by Brady's rings. My
You
bad.
know what you're doing? Know what you're doing? You're going by quarterbacks again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right.
I am.
Okay, who was the first player to rush for 2,000 yards in a single season?
Okay,
O.J. Simpson. That's right. You didn't raise your hand.
he did it. He did that in 14 games. And his quarterback, I think, barely threw for over 1,000 yards.
I was
That's
going
an
to say
amazing stat.
they barely ran the ball. I remember watching O.J. Man, it was early in my life, but I do remember watching him.
I never got to see him. I don't remember. But I watched the
Jesus,
highlights.
you're that freaking old, man. Holy
Dude,
shit!
I'm that old. I remember that. No, I remember watching. They had the white helmets with the red buffalo thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that.
The white helmets and the
Helmets, yeah. All right, but look, I can remember crap that nobody else. It was crazy. All right, so the next one: what NFL team went undefeated in the regular season and playoffs, winning the Super Bowl? It's pretty easy.
72
Miami.
Dolphins.
Yeah, $72.
Lumpy, what was it?
Dolphins.
That's right. You know why you're getting it because you
I
followed.
raised my hand.
That's right.
I followed directions, Dr. Ed.
That's right.
But you just
All
said
right.
17 and 0. 17
Yeah.
off the podcast.
All right, here
I'm
we go.
blurting them out because Jimmy's blurting them out.
Well, I know. See, you got to follow the rules.
It's
Follow
layup
the
city.
rules. You are sitting. That is right. All right. So
I
the
said it's
next one.
layup city.
Who holds the record for the most passing touchdowns in a single season? And if you get and how many? And with what team? A Lumpy.
I believe it was Peyton Manning.
Uh-huh.
It
I
is.
believe with the Colts.
Nope.
No, it was with Denver.
Oh,
Nope.
Denver. And
How many was there?
I believe it was 46.
No.
No, Peyton
It
Manning
was
had like 55 touchdowns.
55. Brady had
55.
54 one season.
55, Peyton Manning.
There you go.
Yeah.
48,
Let everybody
48,
know. Huh?
48 was held by Dan Marino, 1984.
Yeah.
Yeah, 46 was the record for a long time. Or no, it was 48,
40.
wasn't it?
48 was the record. Please, thank you.
Yeah, for a long time.
Oh, and when he threw 48, I remember that year. We were like, "Geez, that'll never get broken."
Yeah, I know.
Yo, not only that, you
I'll
ready
tell
for
you
this?
what, Manning was the
5,000
first one.
yards.
Manning was the first one for me that really got everybody involved in. I mean, at least that's to me. I could be wrong. Fantasy football. I remember Peyton Manning, and they were talking about that. So, because
I remember.
that's for me. I'm speaking on personal reference.
What I loved about Peyton Manning was I learned a lot of football watching Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
Like just watching him go to the line and start doing this shit, pointing out this and that, and kind of pointing out the middle linebacker. He's changing the play. He's changing the routes for the receivers. Like he was looking at the defense, and he got to the line of scrimmage probably with a good 20 seconds to go so he could see the defense. And then he would start reading and changing and this and that. Then they would change. Then he would go, he would say something in Omaha, and boom. The guy was searching.
That's so
Omaha
funny.
was
He was his own offensive coordinator too, and
Oh, yeah.
I remember him. I remember him tearing apart the Eagles, man, one season. The Jimmy Johnson, the Jim Johnson defense. It was up against the Colt, and he just was doing all that crazy shit behind the line, and our defense was just not ready for it, man. He just
Nobody was.
boom.
No, he was.
Yeah,
He also had good weapons, though.
You got to face that guy twice a year. You know,
Yeah,
you
Marvin
gotta
Harrison
face him
Jr.
Yeah.
And you got to fucking, you really got to have a defensive mind. You got to get him out of that dome, too.
Oh, big time.
New England got him a couple of times in New England in that cold, snowy weather. Big difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
huge. All right. Last trivia question here. Which city has hosted the most Super Bowls? And what city
New
was
Orleans.
Lump?
New
Hands up.
Orleans.
Nope.
Oh, but I know.
Miami.
Yes, Miami. How many?
I was just gonna say Miami.
Woo. A lot?
11. Miami.
I was
has
gonna say 12.
11. Yeah, so they were talking about some of these cold weather cities getting a dome, so they want to get a Super Bowl. I don't know. I just think it's good. And
No, you know what's gonna happen with that, Ed? When the Eagles played Super Bowl up in Detroit
yes,
and it snowed and people were parking 2 miles away and walking to the stadium. It was snowing that day.
was it Detroit or Minnesota?
No,
That was
I think
Minnesota. That was Minnesota. In
That was
Detroit,
because the mayor was all pissed off. The mayor was all pissed off because the Eagles beat him, and I remember him saying, "Are you kidding me? I got to welcome the Eagles fans here." He was so
Vikings
mad.
hated us. The Vikings hated us for a long time, man.
Yeah, God.
who was the Super Bowl in Detroit?
San Francisco played the Bengals one year, and it was snowing out there, and people had problems getting the parking.
Yeah,
Might have been the Eagles.
Yeah, that was 88.
That was the Silverdome.
the Detroit Superdome or Silverdome. Like people had to walk like miles to get to the stadium because they couldn't get because the roads weren't plowed. It was snowing so much that day. It was
Yeah.
a mess. Yeah,
I couldn't imagine
2004. Where did the Eagles play the Super Bowl?
Where?
Oh, you're in Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville. That's right. Okay, that's right. They were in Jacksonville in 2004. Yep, I do remember.
Yeah, and the halftime show was Paul McCartney.
Wow.
And before the show, the Charlie Daniels band played "Running with the Devil." I mean, Devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah, I was gonna say you played a Van Halen song.
Yeah, that was Yeah, Georgia went down the devil. I'm sure you played that about
Went down the
1,000
devil. That's a good one.
Great
Yeah.
song. And as I remember saying, you know why he's playing that now, not a halftime? He only got one song.
Who?
Charlie Daniels.
No, he does not.
He's got one.
You just
Leonard
don't know
Skinner
your
got great
music.
song.
Oh, now we have 3 songs. Well, at least you gave me 2 more than you normally give me credit for. So that's good. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, look, good show tonight.
I gotta take this call.
You take this call.
Yeah, Jimmy.
I'll see you guys later.
I'll see you.
All right.
You know darn right well as a pizza guy. I'll see you guys. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Dr.
You
Ed, have a
too,
good
Mike.
one.
All right,
Take care.
all right, buddy.